Greetings to everybody. It's Sunday, October the 7th of 2012. Today I'm at Little River in Blount County, Tennessee, up near Townsend, a little further upstream than what I normally work. The water is a little bit higher than normal, still not terribly high, but today I'm going to be doing some panning in here. And it's been a productive spot in the past. I hit a really good pay streak back in 2007. And pretty much worked out the easier parts of it, but I know there's still gold in here. The water's a little bit higher than like I normally like to work in here, but it is what it is. It's what I got to deal with. The weather today, it's changed quite a bit from what it has been, sunny and warm. Now it's cloudy, a little drizzly at times and cool, somewhere around 50 degrees right now, as opposed to the past few weekends it's been in the 70s. I'm gonna get to work, see if I can find a little color, and I'll holler back at you in a few. I'm back again. Just wanted to describe a little bit the river right here. As you look up the stream, you see it's kind of a flat stretch in here, kind of featureless, straight, flat, even. Really nothing that's gonna give you an indication of where gold might be settling. So success here is going to be achieved by doing a lot of sampling. If you don't have any obvious locations where you should have a pay streak, then you need to work at identifying it with your pan and shovel. And I did identify the pay streak several years ago in this particular area in front of me, primarily because of repeated sampling, but also because, and it's hard to see right now, lots of larger sized gravel settling out in here, and it does continue on down to that area a little bit, and I've really never tried it that much out there. But the area up through here had quite a lot of larger gravels in there, basketball size, and maybe down to grapefruit size, and that seems to be the area where it likes to concentrate in here. So that's one thing I look for. It's always important to do lots of sampling to try to identify it. It's not always just in how much material you run, but the quality of the material. So I'm going to keep working at it. First pan didn't show anything. Second pan I showed a decent color. And keep working at it and see if I can identify a little bit better pay streak. And maybe I'll show you some gold in just a few minutes. Back to the action again. I've started digging a little bit more out away from the gravel bar here, and kind of the way we approached this before when we hit the pay streak was we actually dug a series of parallel trenches in here that were about 15 to 20 feet long. Got to remember the water was a good bit lower then, but we spaced them about 2 feet apart, and we took the material, larger rocks and stuff that wouldn't pass through, essentially tailings, and pile them up in between the trenches. So when we finished working each one of these trenches, and there was approximately 4 of them, there were ridges in between of unworked areas, which I intended to take and throw the larger rocks back in the trenches we'd already cut and finished, and go back and work the spaces in between. Unfortunately, in the season in between, the great eraser, high water came through and smoothed it all out to where you can't tell where the original trenches and ridges were. So if I could find a decent amount of gold in a spot in here, it might indicate to me where the ridges were between the trenches and the unworked material. So that's what I'm going to attempt to do by getting some material from that down in here. Another thing you always want to look out for when you're digging in this area in particular, really any of these gold bearing areas in the east and probably in the west too, is the artifacts. Now this is a piece of flint. Obviously it's not a finished artifact of any type, but it does show evidence of knapping on it. So obviously it's had some workings, it's been cast off for whatever reason. So it's always important to pay attention to your classifier. You might find a point or something like that in there, arrowhead. So it's always important to check. You might hold a piece of history in your hand, if only for a brief moment. It's also important to know the laws in your state regarding artifacts that you find and stuff. In some places you're not allowed to keep them, so obviously you should throw them back. Anyway, that's enough for now. I'm getting color in pretty much every pan, just trying to find a pan that's got better color. And usually the indications of better color in here would be 15 plus decent sized flakes to a pan. That's usually when you're on the paste streak again. So I'm gonna quit yakking, get off here, get back to work. Okay, for the results of my first attempt at finding the unworked areas in there, I don't think I'm necessarily on it, though I did get some color in the pan. We can kind of get in close here. You can see one pretty good sized flakes and a couple of small ones. So I'm gonna keep working at it. At least I'm showing some right there, and I'm getting some in pretty much every pan. I'm gonna continue to work out in this spot and see if I can identify a little better working area. After thinking I'd identified an unworked part of the paste streak, I had a couple of pans with nothing in it, so I actually moved over again, a little bit closer back over into the gravel bar, and I got a couple of decent sized pieces, a bit bigger flakes, kind of what this area is known for. Only 2 of them, but I'm gonna keep working at it. So we'll be back in a few. Hopefully I can show you a really nice pan. Still out here painting in Little River. Got a little bit of a surprise for a moment. Sun actually came out, and still cool, still in the 50s, probably low 50s. It's a little breezy. Starting to see a few breaks in the clouds and see a little bit of blue sky up there. Better than the little misty drizzle we had earlier in dark cloud cover. So hopefully it'll clear up and be a fairly nice afternoon. Still working at it. Really not into a whole lot right now. I'm gonna move up just a few feet and see if I can get into a little bit more. It's definitely in here. You just got to find the spots that haven't been worked. When I first showed up here about 7 years ago, you worked down in here, it was gold in every pan. Not huge quantities all the time, but I had several pans in here that had 50 plus good sized flakes to the pan. I think I pretty much cleaned that area out, but I know there's still some good concentrations in here, so I'm going to get back to work on it and enjoy the rest of the day. It's turned out now to be a bright, sunshiny day. Just a few clouds here and there. So I warmed up a little bit. I doubt it's above 55 though. Quite a bit different than it has been, but we're looking for some really chilly nights in the next few. Really not a whole lot else to say about this spot. It's kind of just a matter of finding the paste streaks in the gravel. There's really not a lot of clues. You just have to sample until you find it. I've gotten some decent pans, nothing spectacular, maybe 6 pieces is the best one. Most of them run 1, sometimes 2. Decent sized flakes though, so it will add up a little bit. I'm sure if I got a little further out in there, I could do quite a bit better than I am right here, but not really equipped to get out in there right now. Nowhere really to set a pan down. Didn't bring a bucket or anything to set one on, so I'm kind of limited to the shoreline. But it's good enough in here to keep working and have a little fun while I'm doing it. So stay tuned. I'll be back shortly. So time for me to pack up and head on back. Didn't set any records today for gold, but did okay. Got a few decent sized flakes, some fine stuff too. Turned out to be a rather nice day, although kind of cool. But anyway, that concludes it for today. And next weekend I might have some different locations. I'll keep this a surprise. So get out and find some gold of your own and have fun doing it and be safe.